The star of the show was Megan Hausman, a former Playboy model.
In 2005, I got discovered by Playboy, and they made me a cyber girl. If you're a Playmate, you're featured as a centerfold in the magazine. If you're a cyber girl, you're featured on their website. Playboy at that time had all different kinds of products that they were trying to promote. So I did runway shows with their clothing line. They had a Playboy concierge service, so they would fly me to different nightclubs. And you got to be on the permanent list to the Playboy Mansion parties, which was like a golden ticket. I love the Playboy world. I couldn't get enough of it. But in 2007, I just got too busy with reality TV to continue with Playboy.
Hi, Megan. How's it going?
So the concept of Megan Wants a Millionaire was that I was single. I was looking to be in a relationship. I would prefer that person to have a lot of money and also be single, and for us to live happily ever after. The 17 bachelors had to have a minimum of a net worth of $1 million.
Oh my God!
And the casting agents held casting parties at different nightclubs and interviewed men to be on the show. 14 of you are pre-approved. 3 of you will be declined.
Ryan Jenkins lived in Calgary. It's a big, rich, wealthy oil town in the provinces in Canada. And he definitely had dreams of stardom, whatever it may be or whatever it took.
I met Ryan Jenkins on the first episode.
Hello, Megan.
I remember he was wearing a purple shirt, and I had a purple dress on. And my dog had a purple bow on her neck. So we all matched. And I liked him from the very beginning. Ryan would spend his time writing love letters to me. Hey, baby, I just wanted to tell you that I'm having a great time on this show, and it's all because of you. I always feel a connection with you regardless of what we are doing, as if you and I were the only ones in the room. I can't wait to have you all to myself, as I truly feel that a life together with you would be amazing. Your boy, Ryan. We had a real relationship happening, but we had to keep it a secret.
This is an elimination contest show called Megan Wants a Millionaire. You know, you pretty much have to be a millionaire, don't you? So he told the casting director, and it went all the way up the chain in production, that he was worth $2.5 million.
Ryan claimed to be a millionaire, but it became obvious that he really didn't have much money.
Ryan's father's a real estate developer, has property in Canada, and he's actually the millionaire in the family. Ryan's not a millionaire. His father was a millionaire.
Window seat.
But I didn't care. I really liked him. When we were down to the last 3 contestants, I told the producer that I wanted to pick Ryan, and she said that that was not what they had planned. And that was the first time that I was made aware that the decision wasn't up to me. I had no time to tell him that I was going to eliminate him. Plus, I could not have jeopardized the show and told him before the elimination ceremony.
Hi, boys.
Ryan was standing in front of me with the other 2 contestants, the final 3, and I was shaking.
A connection that
I had a microphone in my ear, and I was just repeating what they were telling me to say, and I had to tell him he was eliminated. And he was just shaking his head and saying, like, no, that's not true.
A lot of times reality shows don't have a lot of regard for the people involved because they want to get the story. That's the first priority. They want a TV show that's gonna grab eyes and that everybody's gonna watch. So they're gonna get the content they want. They're gonna edit it the way they want. You know, they're gonna make you say what they want you to say, basically.
So after the elimination ceremony, he got back to his hotel and he started calling me over and over and over again. And I mean, I was getting ready to fly to Mexico to film the finale, and I had the producers with me. I could not talk to him on the phone. And then I was planning on calling him and explaining everything to him, smoothing it all over, and we could just go on with our happy plans. And 2 days later, he called me, and before I got to explain to him what happened, he said, "I have met the love of my life and I'm married." I really could not believe it, because just 2 days before that, he told me he was gonna marry me, and I was the love of his life.
Well, to say it was a whirlwind romance would be an understatement.
Ryan told me that he met her in a nightclub in Vegas. He asked her for her phone number. She put her phone number in his phone, and under the contact, she put her birthday. When he looked at the phone, he saw that it was also his birthday. They shared the same birthday, and he thought that that was a sign that she was the one, and he had to marry her.
And that made Jasmine believe that they were meant to be. So they met on March 16th, and 2 days later, March 18th, 2009, they're married at the Little White Chapel in Las Vegas.
Ryan thought that if he couldn't be married to me, he would find another Playboy model to be married to.
I think a lot of men, particularly Ryan in this case, want to date a Playboy model or to have that kind of trophy on his arm to get a lot of attention or reflect that attention back on them.
He presented himself as a very wealthy millionaire that was going to be starring in a TV show that was going to make him famous. She presented herself as a big model, you know, Playboy. And they had the idea that they were going to be this showbiz couple in Vegas.
They seemed like a glamorous power couple, but it was all a facade.
They kind of got married really quick without knowing each other that well. And having some problems, and she just didn't know how to handle it.
It's starting to look to Jasmine that, she threw it in for the wrong guy. This guy doesn't have any money. He kept promising that he'd have money and be able to take care of them, but he couldn't get his money into the country from Canada. She worked hard for her money, and he was dipping into it, and she resented that. He's not the guy he told her he was.
A couple weeks later, Ryan actually sent me this message from Vegas. "I got caught up after the show and made a hasty decision with a girl, as you know. But it's very obvious I am not with my soulmate here. If you'd like to see if there could be still something, we should talk." I just had a soft spot for him, and I felt like even if we weren't gonna have a relationship, I cared about him and I wanted to help him.
Ryan was our person of interest, but we also had to look at others. We wanted to speak with anyone that had any contact with Jasmine, specifically, days before her murder.
Came back from the coroner's office that DNA was present on Jasmine Fio's body. When they do the rape kit, they found semen. Guess what? DNA's in the system. Michael Cardozi is a parolee who had just been released from prison.
And he was a former husband of Jasmine.
I'm just like, what?
I had to double take when I found out that she had been married before.
And we learned that she had been with him days before being murdered.